Hi friends and welcome back. I'd like to share with you an oracle that I made back in March, and I've been really quite keen to record this video for some time. However, I thought first of all perhaps it's a good idea to use the deck for a few months and see how things unfold, and I'm really enjoying it. Here I decided to source free stock images, so it's about the keywords but also the image that comes with it in order to inspire or bring something to your attention. At the end of the day, it was just a little creative project I decided to start. Actually, in February, I began to write a list of prompts, keywords, phrases, maybe a few quotes, and that the beauty of creating your own deck is you can add and subtract as much as you like. And when I did decide to add some extra cards, I just went back in and created a second deck and off I went. This is also helping me with my stock take when it comes to oracle decks. To be honest, I've always been very, very careful with my purchases. I like to think of myself as a conscious consumer. But you know what I very conveniently forgot is how many pre-loved oracle decks I bought some years ago. I'm talking around 10 years ago now when I first moved here. My local secondhand bookstores used to have oracles quite regularly, bargains like $7, $8. And so I thought I was in heaven. Hello, I'll take it. And yes, I used them for years. I still do. For myself, for clients, friends, family. But it just got to the point where I feel like it's time to move some decks on anyway. Some of you already know that of me. But it's just interesting how when it comes to tarot decks, I've been very, very mindful of all of my purchases. But I got a bit carried away with the oracles because they were so inexpensive. Straight over the counter, easy peasy, why not? And I don't regret it, but I'm just saying that I think at this time, it's a good time to be mindful and really take stock as to, and be very honest with myself as to what I really do need to keep. There's actually a card that I created to honor that practice in this deck, which I'll show you when I get there. So I'm more than happy to release majority of these oracle decks. And there was another point that I wanted to bring up. What I found was, on more than one occasion, I would see that, or I noticed that quite a number of the keywords parallel each other, if not they are identical from one deck to another. So, there seemed to be a theme around, say, abundance or strength or potential or release and let go. And even though, yes, the artwork is different, and that is the point of difference, I totally appreciate that. But I did find that, there seemed to be quite a few repeats along the way. And that's what prompted me also to just take mindfully from those decks some inspiration regarding those keywords and then bring into my own deck some keywords or phrases that I would have liked to have seen in the decks that I already own. Now that I have this little deck, I'm so thrilled with it, and I'm really happy to release the other decks. So moving right along, let's start. Well, I'll show you every card in no particular order, and I'll explain about, the two decks that are one as we move along. First of all, I'll show you the backing. This may be a little difficult for my camera to focus on because it's a very, very soft image anyway. When you are sourcing free stock, I will warn you, it's a fascinating ride, but it's also a rabbit hole, and it can be very time consuming. So if you're going to create an oracle deck for yourself using free stock, I would say just allow yourself plenty of time. Don't be in a rush. This is the third backing for this particular deck. I found others that I also loved, and you'll hear me say on more than one occasion, I just stumbled upon this. So I'm searching for something else, and this image came up, and I thought, oh, that's beautiful. And out of that, I came up with the title, Insights Oracle. I wanted to stick to neutral tones and pastels for this deck. 99% of the cards are. There are a few that are a little more on the bolder side color-wise for valid reasons, I believe, which I'll show you. But all in all, I'm really happy with this backing. And as I was saying, just allow yourself time, because I found that upon searching for a particular image to suit my keyword, along the way I would find other images that I just fell in love with and thought, well, I have to find a keyword for this because I just love the image. Because I wasn't in a rush, I found it to be a real pleasure. If you are in a rush, it can be a little trying and tiring, because it is like a vast ocean, sourcing images. And I only stuck to the one website. If I tapped into other websites, I think I would never return home. So it's fun, but it's a rabbit hole. It's an abyss. So just saying. Okay, here we go. It's late afternoon. I hope these images are going to be okay. Let's get some focus here. Okay, balance. Sensitive soul. So, of course, that can be speaking of yourself or someone else. This is one of my favorite sayings. You have the power to turn it around. Squabble. Clingy. This is one of those images that I just stumbled upon, and I really like it. So I called it dubious. I like the fact that you can't tell whether this is a male or a female. And to add to it, there are clouds in the vicinity. So it could be about a person. That's basically what I designed it for. Like someone in the vicinity, someone in your immediate environment may not be revealing everything about themselves. Just be aware. But of course, it could be a situation also. Magic is everywhere. I love this image. It's just so cute. Look at how far you've come, not how far you have to go. Another cutie is this dear little pug. Now, I called this despondent, but of course, this is what I love about this type of exercise. That dear sweet little pug, you could call this have a nurture day or a me day, time to relax, look after yourself. It could be not feeling 100%. I mean, you could take this in so many different directions, but I went with despondent. Collaboration. Nature. Oh my goodness. There we go. Expectations. So in this case, are your expectations just a little too high? Are you making things difficult for yourself? Or perhaps it's somebody else's expectations of you. Perception. Where do you think you may have let yourself down? I think that's a pretty challenging question, or it can be. You have to be so very honest with yourself. Time to move on. Tranquility. This one was designed to be called Your Time to Shine. But when I found this image, I loved it. And I thought it's just way too wordy for an image such as this. It'd be just too busy with all the words. So I just called it Your Time. I think the message comes across. You do you. Stay true to your calling. You're almost there. Fulfillment. Now, I should add that this is a personal choice here. Anything to do with flying, that is for me exciting. I'm like a kid in a candy store. That is a fulfilling experience for me. But I thought I'd use this image because surely no one in their right mind would do something like this unless they get a thrill out of it and they really enjoy it. So it's whatever fulfillment means to you. I don't know if you can hear my budgie, but he's going crazy. He's a nut. Listen. Often it's inward, but it could be somebody around you or that as much as they are speaking words, you're not hearing their message. Step out from behind the curtain. Learn something new. Life takes an unexpected turn. Now. I chose this image because for me the prompt was now, like get it done before that drink gets cold. Looks like a hot chocolate, doesn't it? It was like now, yeah, while it's hot, grab it, go, do it, drink it. Flourish. Macrocosm, so don't forget the bigger picture. Step back. This is a very important message to me. Prioritize your time. It is your most precious resource. This card asks you to reflect upon your days. How much time do you spend doing what you love as opposed to what you don't? Fragile. And some focus wouldn't go astray. I say fragile. Oh, this camera, I tell you. I think that's as good as it's going to get. This one here you could suggest is a cliche. Embrace and enjoy each and every moment. But honestly, some of you know I lost a friend, which came as shocking news to me just a week ago. And now every time I see this card, I'll think about her. This will be a very, very poignant reminder that it isn't just a cliche. This is so very important because anything can change at any moment of any day for any person. So really do enjoy every moment. Don't take anything for granted. Treat yourself. Strive. Self-doubt. Discipline. Time for adventure. This is an image I took years ago now, and I think it served the purpose for what I was looking for here. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. It's obviously a downward escalator. Live it up. Hesitation. Obliged. Do you feel obliged to do it their way? I mean, you can still be you and remain a part of the family, the community, the group. That's basically what it's edging towards. Options. Honor your unique qualities. This one I adore. This is one of those images that I found and I thought I have to include this image, and I don't know what the prompt is at this time, but I know this little kitten is asking me a question. That's all I had in my mind for weeks. And at the very end, when I was ready to go to print, I thought I have to find a prompt for this. So I came up with, are you being honest with yourself? This dear little kitten is a baby, yet he looks like a wise old man in a sense. And I just feel like looking at that dear little face, there is no way I could lie to this kitten. So if he or she asks me, am I being honest with myself? I feel like I have to be honest. I just cannot. I have to be honest with him as well as me. Anyway, beautiful. Look at the bright side. Breakthrough. Tired. Confined. Move your body. Very important during these lockdown times. Remain neutral. Defensive. Consistency. Surge. clouds are clearing. Love this image, support. So I had the key word, but finding this image was gold. Face it head on. Feeling isolated. This one here, I originally called Out in the Cold. And I don't know if you can see, but this is actually a track. So vehicles, you can see well, in decent light, you can see the tire marks of vehicles. So I sort of feel with this card, it can simply be you're feeling isolated, right, at this time. But it can also provide a choice. So if you're feeling isolated because they, quote unquote, have left you behind, you have a choice. You can make your way up the track towards town, back to the familiar, back to them. Or you can perhaps take a risk and go cross country and walk to the beat of your own drum. And yes, you're cold and feeling perhaps a little lonely, but you never know what will come out of this if you do take that sharp left-hand turn. You never know what or whom you'll discover. It kind of reminds me in a sense of the Five of Pentacles. Make a splash. Meditate. What would you do or change if fear was not a factor and you couldn't fail? This is another image I just found. I love it. Heart-shaped cake. So I called it detach. Obviously, yeah, walk away, separate, unhook, detach, leave it go. See you later. This I also love. I had it in my notes. I wanted a card called Out of Kilter, and then I found this image. Perfect. My budgie. Making this very difficult. I love foxes. I love foxes so much. I cannot stop laughing. Sorry. He just goes hyper at this time of day. Anyway, I love foxes so much, and I think this image is absolutely stunning. Sorry about that, folks. Mind over matter. Make a wish. Tolerate. So cute. In an age of constant movement, nothing is more urgent than sitting still. Makes you think, doesn't it? I called this pessimistic because his little chin is down on the leaf there, but I'm sure in reality he's very relaxed and quite at home. You know when little puppies do that? They put their, if they're a bit sad because you're going out, they'll go onto their mat and their little chin goes down to the ground. So that's what it made me think of, but I like that dear little frog. Save your energy. Plenty. So this is a card that can represent abundance. You have plenty, so feel safe. Know that you have enough, more than enough. So this slice here, did you cut that in order to share with someone, to offer it to someone because you have plenty, you have the whole pie? Or are you cutting that slice for yourself and you're going to quite swiftly put the pie into the fridge and keep it all for yourself? So you could take this a number of ways. Oh my God, my bird. Accomplishment. I like this card. You know you want to, yet you keep putting it off. Rise above. Creative block. We've all had one of those once or twice. Soul growth. So this can relate to those times in life where we're having a bit of a difficult time. It's challenging, but you know in your heart of hearts that this is a growth spurt. So yeah, it's difficult, but at the end of the day, you'll come up trumps because it's all about spiritual growth at the end of the day. This is another image that I found and I thought I have to put this in. I think it's quite powerful, so I've called this one Overwhelmed. Ignore those who try to belittle your ambitions. Seek solitude. Oh, I can relate to that. Potential. Progress. Impasse. So you can see through it. It's not a block. You can see through this very tricky situation, but tricky and sharp and complex it is. So the road not taken, it's not the road less taken or the road less travelled as we know it. This is terrain you've never explored before. It's time. And when you do, pace yourself. Heavy load. Fresh start. Foggy terrain. Embrace the outdoors. I love this. So this is a body of water, and obviously this really amazing photo was taken when either a droplet or something was dropped into the water. But it reminded me of a person, like I'm rising up above you, the crowd. Look at me. It's all about me. Spread your arms. Love it. Inner compass. Express yourself. This was actually a wine glass with a stem, so I just cropped it. But I love this image. What is it that you need more of and less of in your life? Take a leap of faith. Metamorphosis. Dip your toes in. Soften. Follow your true north. Practice moderation. Is there something you're not seeing? Should be a question mark there. Escape. I'll take it. Inhale, exhale. So it's like saying, take a deep breath, just stop for a moment. I did visit the monkey forest when I went to Bali, so I love this image, apathy. Easy breezy. Do you worry too much about what other people think? Hold space. So that could be for yourself or for another person. Don't. So I originally had don't rush, don't presume, and something else. And I thought, okay, all right, let's just rein it in here and put a few key words on one card. So the idea behind this is it may be don't rush. It may be don't avoid the situation. You will know whether it's, or you should be triggered by one of these words. If not, you will know what it is. It could be don't do it to yourself. But whatever it is, the idea with this card is for you to be honest and understand and acknowledge what it is that it's telling you. Stay wild. Blunder. Oh no. Had a few of those as well. Cultivate flexibility. Wow. Not quite there physically, but I'm working on it. Cleanse and hydrate. Draw from your past. Don't let your past draw from you. Is the source of this struggle him, her, them, or is it your mind? So, you're blowing things up way out of proportion there. Cracks are beginning to show. phony. I love this. Ripple effect. Get shit done. Closed until further notice. This could be a situation, but really I had in mind a person. You know those days where you just think, no, don't call me. The front door's closed. The laptop's shut down. I just don't want to know about it. Don't call me. I'll call you. Growth may be painful. Change may be painful. But nothing is as painful as staying stuck where you don't belong. This is based on a quote, but I did tweak it. Bottled up. Ancestors or guides. Stagnation. Denial. You need to choose. Initiate. Exposed. So something may be exposed or you're feeling exposed. Could be a few different things. And this one here is what I was referring to earlier. I called this essentialism, and it's just a reminder to have a little look around you and make sure you're not doubling up. For me, this card is asking, well, how many white shirts do you need? So it's just about being very mindful about what it is that you have in your world. And is anything weighing you down, or are you clinging on because you're afraid that, you know, I need the backup and I need the backup of the backup, that kind of thing. Obviously, it depends on the querent and what they're asking about. Now, these few cards are a little more challenging, so the colours are darker or bolder. Ruckus. Attitude check. Seems to me you're down here where you should be up here. Revelation. Anguish. Enticing. Repeat. And humdrum. Okay, I decided to turn a light on. It's a soft white light, and it does tend to bring to the cards a yellowish hue. I do apologize, but I fear that it's going to get too dark in here very soon. So I was just going to go over the last few cards very quickly because they may seem like a bit of a double up. I'm referring to, oh dear God, look at the color, enticing, which I think it is. I really, really like this image. And once again, I wasn't looking for this, but I found it, so I called it portal. Then I called it mesmerizing. And I ended up going with enticing because I just feel like it's, well, maybe I should have called it entice. But yeah, I just feel like it's drawing you in. So with this one, it's like, it's hypnotic. And it's as if, to me, you're being drawn in either against your will, or you don't even realize you're being sucked into this situation. You're not going to realize until you get right to the center of it all there. And, well, that may be too late. Who knows? So this could be a love relationship. You know, that's what I started thinking about. Like if you fall in love with someone who's not good for you, or they may be cheating on their partner or whatever it be. But before you know it, at the blink of an eye, you find yourself right in the center. You're in deep. Whereas this one here, repeat, this is something that it could be a habit, and habits can be hard to break, but you're very aware of it. So, yeah, the fact that I'm eating too many sweets and, you know, not exercising day in, day out, I'm digging myself into a hole here, but I know I'm doing it, even though it's tricky to get out of it. But of course, this can also be your meditation practice, any practice. You are improving and fine-tuning your skills, so it can be either way. So this is about something I'm aware of. This is about something I am sort of, but at the same time, it's quite a as I said, like a hypnotic experience where I really wasn't aware that I was getting sucked in so deep. And then on a similar vein, this one here, Humdrum, I wanted to call Groundhog Day. So this is about the same thing happening over and over, similar to this. But this is just downright yawn, like, yeah, I'm just same shit, different day kind of feeling. And then the, last card of the main deck is called 12 Questions. And I came up with this only because I had sitting on my desk a 12-sided dice. And I thought, oh, that'd be funky. Why don't I create 12 questions? Associate each with a number. And if you draw this card, then you roll the dice. And whatever number comes up, that is the question you need to ask yourself. So that's just for a little bit of fun. Then I was playing around with the idea of doing different types of spreads rather than simply drawing a few cards. I mean, when I created this deck, it was about drawing a few cards at the end of every tarot consult. You can draw as many as you like, quite frankly. But then I thought, well, let's just play around with different spreads. And I was thinking about Lenormand, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to put a significator in there? Not that this deck was designed for that kind of work, but why not? But I don't want to go cliche and make it a person. So I found this image of a little coffee mug, and I like the fact that it says begin, if you can ever see it in focus. So everything begins with you. And it has an almost like an ace-like energy, doesn't it? Because it's a shot of coffee. It's a shot of energy in the morn. So when you commence this, you commence with you, and that, as I said, it's like a 1 or an ace energy. So I decided that this could double up as a significator. And then if you were asking about a partner or another person, I decided to source, and I found a couple of bike images, one that represents, say, the other man, and the other or another woman. So once again, I will include these or I won't. It depends on what I'm doing with the deck. What else did I... and the only other thing to share is, because I came up with this brilliant plan to create another deck, which was much smaller than the original, I wanted to, just for something a little different, create a few groups. So I'll show you what I mean. These are the B words. Initially, I did have a be patient and be this and be that. And I thought, well, why not make it a little series? So one backdrop, that's all you need. And let's get some focus here. And just do a little series. So something you need to be at this time and you're not being. Be patient. Be resourceful. Whether it be you or someone you're asking about, be considerate. Be careful. Be practical. Be grateful. Be responsible. Be honest. And be willing. Then I thought I would add, because I had the cards available, a little bit of controversy here. So a few pointy cards that are really going to pull you up. And again, it could be if you're asking, remember that card that was called dubious. So if someone came up in the spread, okay, someone's in the vicinity, they're working in the shadows. We need to be very careful. So if any of these cards came up, you would know to really pay attention to what's going on. They may be deceitful, controlling, arrogant, uncharitable, irritable, judgmental. Oh, upside down. Oh, what happened there? Irresponsible, disrespectful, inconsistent, ignorant, capricious. Oh my goodness me, I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Capricious or pretentious. So, ouch. You wouldn't want that to come up for yourself. But that's the thing. Sometimes we do need that little poke, don't we? It's like you have been, or at times we'll find out, oh my God, I was being very inconsiderate. I was being judgmental on that particular occasion. I was, I was irritable and I shouldn't have been, or impatient with that person. So even if it isn't the exact word, you get the message that something's going on and you are operating out of your shadow, and you really need to pay attention to that. And then last but not least, this is the end, believe it or not. I did have a few cards left over, and so I decided, once again, I'd only share these when necessary. I decided to create some very, very basic chakra cards. Base. Hello. Thank you. Base. Sacral. So I've just placed a quote, as you can see. Solar plexus. Heart. Throat. Third eye, and crown. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and I am sorry that my camera continues to focus and refocus and unfocus. But I did want to share with you because really the process of creating this deck was so very enjoyable, as I said in the early stages of this video, and honestly, I would do it again. I've already... Just today, actually, something popped into my mind and I thought, oh my goodness, I know what I could do for another little oracle deck. And I find it well worth the effort and the time. And yeah, you'd only do it when you're in the mood for it. And the beauty is, if you commence an oracle, you can have it sitting there. Just save your project on Make Playing Cards. You don't have to finish it all in one go. I spent a month fiddling around with this. I just took my time. Images came in, images left. I've got a whole series of images sitting in my library that I didn't use for this deck that I may perhaps use for another. What I would love to do, instead of just having them in a bag or a box, there's so many of them, I would love to find some kind of basket arrangement where you could just have them all sitting in there, like kind of higgledy-piggledy like that. And then you can just swizzle your way in and draw them, draw them out of a basket rather than just shuffle like you do with any other deck. That's why I love the fact that there's so many. And I was also considering the fact that I would like to use this deck in a group setting. So there's plenty of cards to go around. So I'll just leave them there in an absolute mess. And thank you very much for watching. Do take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.